Welcome to the Phoenix music scene on the YetiRadio.com. The Yeti Radio, powered by DavidLeeImaging.com.
All right, let's get to work.
3, 2, 1.
Let's do this.
The Phoenix music scene on the YetiRadio.com.
Welcome, everybody, to the Yeti Radio, live on Twitch and YouTube. Tonight, we have Mr. Tommy Gibbons live in studio for an amazing interview. Stay tuned. We're going to start off with a little intro song. We're going to go with Damned from Mr. Tommy Gibbons right here on the Yeti Radio. Live in studio with Mr. Tommy Gibbons right here on the Yeti Radio. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Let's see. Where are you originally from? Were you from, born and raised in Arizona, or?
Pretty much. I mean,
okay.
Pretty much adopted at birth, Seoul, Korea, but I'm pretty much been raised here my whole life, as far as I can remember, anyways. Mainly, Litchfield Park area. I love it here. I like where we're at right now too, because I feel like we're in like the middle of everything.
Right.
So, we're not too far from the Cardinal Stadium, which also is like Westgate and all that stuff. And then, of course, I'm excited because there's a comic book store like in walking distance from me. So I'm all over that.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much born and raised here my whole life.
All right. Awesome. What got you started in music?
Well, as a little kid, my dad was always, he would take me on his jobs, while he was working pools. And you always have like hard rock, heavy metal music going, Blue Oyster Cult, Metallica, Joe Satriani, and I just loved the way they sounded, even as a little kid. And then I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. He took me to go see Joe Satriani live.
Oh, wow.
And like right there, I was like, I need to do that. Whatever that is, whatever's going on there, I need that. So.
It's an amazing influence.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
I can't play like that still, but that's what I was striving for.
So, what are some of your biggest highlights in your musical career?
I mean, that's such a... No offense. I hate this question because when I'm not put on the spot, I could give you I could rattle them off. But now put on the spot, I'm like, well, I mean, playing with bands like Tantric, Flaw, bands that I grew up liking. I mean, despite how things might have gone down or whatever, no one can take those memories away from me. And I got to do a lot of cool festivals, play a lot of great shows, and it was overall a great experience. I mean, I've toured 48 out of the 50 states. I've been everywhere, and I've got to do things like be on the Stephen Colbert Show. I got to play some of the top festivals. So I mean, to just tell you one specific highlight would be pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
Or I just what's going to happen is after this interview, and as soon as you hit stop, I'm like, oh well, there was this one thing. So. I mean,
well, we'll let you ponder on it, and then
maybe we could circle back to that
at any time, definitely. What about your music philosophy?
My music philosophy, as far as
your general consensus on what pushes you in music, as far as how you play, what you play, heck, even what you mix in the studio for maybe somebody else.
Okay, that's an interesting question. It's hard because a lot of people love music. Me, of course, obviously being one of them. But it becomes very difficult to love it when it also becomes your job. Then it becomes even more difficult when I'm not the only mouth I'm trying to feed. So I'm not going to go on here and saying, oh, music's my life, I love it, and lie to people. I'm also not going to sit here and say I absolutely hate it and I'm a bitter person about it. No, but there are good days and bad days, which I kind of feel like that's with any job or anything you have passion about. I mean, let's say like you're passionate about being a doctor. You're not always getting up looking forward to working. And that's what music is to me. It's a job. Now, people will take that and go, oh, so you don't love it. No, it's my job, but I still love it. But there's also things that make it hard to love. I will go on record saying this. Music, to be in the music industry, I've never seen another type of industry, maybe other than like acting or any, the entertainment industry in general, where you put so much and there's a good chance you're going to get nothing in return. And I'm not talking about, money or, fame. It's just, there's a lot of snakes in the grass in this industry, and it's difficult to want to keep going when you deal with those people over and over again.
Right. Absolutely.
So my philosophy, I guess, would be do it because you love it. And if you keep that mindset, who knows?
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Absolutely. Okay, we have Satriani as a influence. Any other influences?
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just guitar players. I mean, one of my favorite guitar player of all time is Buckethead. He's like number one on my list. But I also love songwriters like Johnny Cash. I love Neil Young before he got all cuckoo bananas.
Right.
But despite whatever, I still love his music.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. Is I just love great songwriters. Not to take away from great players, but to me, nothing beats a great song. Just a good hook and something you can just listen to all the time and it never gets old. So,
okay. Do you have any pre-show rituals?
No, not at all. I mean, I guess I get really quiet, but that's so like cliche and boring. Right. I feel like everyone kind of gets that way.
Focused and in the zone.
Yeah, because it's show business. So you got to flip that switch. Everything you got going on kind of goes out the window. So, but no, as far as like actual like rituals, not really.
Okay. What is your songwriting process?
I always like to start with the chorus. Okay. Actually, a pretty well-known producer named Rick Lander taught me this formula, and I've really stuck with it. I like to take like an acoustic or a piano, just something simple, take a chord progression and build off that chord progression and work on a really catchy hook. Because I feel like once you have that down, because to me, and to most people, the chorus is kind of the most important part of the song. So when you have that down, I feel like everything else just kind of falls into place.
Okay.
So in a sense, you're kind of right. I'm kind of writing backwards.
Right.
But I feel like that's worked pretty good for me.
Okay. No, that's one I've been looking for in interviews that I've done. When I ask that question, I'm trying to see all the different avenues.
Mm-hmm. And, that's what makes it cool. There's no right or wrong answer.
No, absolutely not. I'm just trying to find all the ones that are out there, and that's a new one. What do you think it is that makes your music unique?
I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and like kid people and be like, "Oh, my music's original. It's never been done before." That's a heap of crap, because that's kind of like an impossible thing to do. Everything's kind of been done.
There's only so many chords.
Right. So I mean, I really can't sit here and go, "Oh, I have this unique sound and came up with this idea." No, I didn't. I'm going to be full of shit at that point. Sorry, if I don't know if I could swear.
No, you're fine.
I mean, look, here's my thing. We kind of were talking about this earlier before we went on air. When I make music, especially if I decide to make music now, I don't ever make it for them, for other people. And I don't mean that in a like jerk, like in a dickish way.
Right.
I'm not saying like I don't care about the fans. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I don't ever go in there with an agenda of like, I got to write a hit. I got to write this. I got to write this for the... No. I'm going to write whatever I feel like writing.
Right.
And if people want to like it, awesome. And if people don't want to like it, that is awesome. That's what makes music so great. Or art or entertainment in general, that's what makes it great. You have every right to not like it. You also have every right to like it. Right. So I never go in there with the intention of I'm going to make this for somebody, or I'm going to make this for this audience, for this market. No, I don't give a shit. I'm going to make this for me, and I think this sounds cool. And if you want to like it, cool. But I don't know. I don't think that necessarily makes me unique. No. But,
Well, I will say, and it's not necessarily just your music, but your playing, especially on stage, because I've had the amazing opportunity to see you play live. Your personality when you're up there doing what you do, for me, makes you unique, because there's I don't see a whole lot of other people that are as animated.
Hey, you must not get out much.
Well, no, it's
Kidding.
there's different levels of it. And,
Right.
You're definitely on an upper tier.
Oh, well, thank you.
But,
Thank you.
It's definitely awesome. Where do you get some of your inspiration for lyrics?
Life events. I definitely stay away from like religion and politics as much as I can.
Yes.
But experiences, things I've seen. I feel bad because I don't have like a elaborate cool answer, but
No,
it's just kind of I have a funny when it comes to lyrics. It just depends on like the riff, I guess, or the chord progression I come up with and what I think it should be.
okay.
So I don't know. It just to say like, oh, I mainly write about this. It just depends on what mood I'm into because I'm kind of a moody person. So
Well, no, I've seen your videos that are on Focus, and it's whoever did the video that matches really well.
no, Daniel Miller. I've done videos with Daniel Miller and Gavin Donnelly, Sound For You, both incredible. And yes, both of them do a great job of bringing like the vision to life, which is really cool because a lot of people listen with their eyes now, I feel. So yeah, no, I love, I love working with them. And yeah, they do a pretty good job of like kind of matching the lyrics and like bringing the story to life, I guess you could say.
Putting the idea together.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. So what is your favorite song that you have written? And if it's not the same one that is your favorite to perform, what is your favorite one to perform?
That is a horrible question. I hate that question so much. I don't have a favorite because man, that's so hard for me to do. Like, I can't just be like, this is my favorite song. Cause I'm not saying my stuff's garbage, but I have a hard time with like accolades or like, I guess you could say I'm very detached from my stuff.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm so focused on moving forward and going to the next thing that I just don't have time to like enjoy that. I guess I don't know if it's a good way of putting it.
Well,
but
having a music career and then having the studio and then the family.
Right.
The busyness of life.
Absolutely. I don't really have a favorite. I'm just being blunt.
No,
I'm not saying
Do you have one that's more sentimental?
No. I will say this: the album Caution that I did, a few years ago, I liked that. That was a lot of fun to make, and I kind of feel like I got to really be myself on that album. So if I had to pick a favorite, maybe that.
Okay,
but even that, like, I haven't even sat and listened to it all the way through. But to be fair, I also engineered it, so I'm glad to not hear it.
You heard it a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite performance that you've had on tour?
Anytime I played the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
I don't think it's possible to have a bad show there. In my opinion, the Machine Shop is what a music venue needs to be. The staff is great, the sound is great, the stage is great. There's a reason why it has a great reputation. Anytime I saw the Machine Shop on the tour schedule, I'd be like, man, I don't even give a shit how the rest of the run goes. That is the only show that, you know what I mean? So to me, yeah, anytime I got to perform at the Machine Shop, I would say is, yeah,
okay,
top tier.
Do you have a favorite local place?
Well, you kind of put me on the spot, and I feel like I have to answer it. I mean, I hate to be cliche. I mean, I love the Marquee. Marquee's a cool place. I mean, it's a very nice venue. I actually like the Blues.
Okay.
I like it there. You know, it's a good vibe. Starlight's cool. I mean, it's just hard to say this is my favorite because I feel like no matter what I say, I'm going to hurt someone's feelings. Not that I care, but you know,
Right.
I don't know. It's really hard to say like this is my favorite
Okay.
because I might like it one day and then I hate it the next. You know.
Well, when you were in Flint, you didn't drink the water, right?
No.
So other than that one, if you could play any venue in the world,
Does it have to be like small or can it be like any
no,
size?
it could be whatever, insane. It could be whatever you want.
Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And it will never happen, but just God, that's such a like. Oh my God! Plus, I'm a huge wrestling buff, and that's where all of the good wrestling shows go.
Right.
So, I would just, I honestly at this point in my life, I would just like to be in there and go to a show there, which is crazy because I hate leaving the house. But I'm here, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But no,
thank you.
But no, thank you for having me. But no, I just something about Madison Square Garden is so iconic.
Right.
You know. Also, I would love to go to Fenway Park in Massachusetts. I want to see a Red Sox game.
Okay.
This,
Anywhere overseas?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I feel like that's such an easy one, like, because a lot of people want to go there. You know. I mean, of course, I would like to visit there, but just right now, it's no point.
No, it's totally understandable. So, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you during a show?
Okay, I got kind of a funny one. It was the first show of the Make America Rock run. I think it was somewhere in Texas. First off, we were off to a bad start because our AC died, and it was the summer, so that was awful.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and that sucked in itself. But we get to the show. This is with Tantric, by the way. We get to the show. We get set up. It was a really nice crowd. It was like outdoor casino arena. It was really cool. Our intro plays. We opened with Down and Out, which had the cool violin intro and everything. And I remember just like getting pumped, like, all right, you know what? Stupid bus ride. Oh my God, I'm just going to go out there and let it all out. So I come running out. I hit this big open court and I just take a tumble.
Wow.
And I just remember like, because the way I fell, I like rolled, but I like rolled kind of like back, like up too. So I was like, what the hell just happened? And I'm just like, I'm just going to keep going. And thinking in my head, like, maybe no one saw that. No, you fucking idiot. Of course people saw that. But
any chance it looked like you did it on purpose?
Not at all. I looked like a doofus like falling like that. But I try to play it off like I mean, I try to play it off, but I think that just made it worse.
Right.
You know, so I should have just rolled it and been like, I fell. But that was pretty crazy. Trying to think. Again, it's one of those questions like you put me on the spot and I'm like, oh, but later I'll be like, oh, you know what? This happened and this happened. But nah. But that one always stuck with me because it was such a big, like, it was my first kind of like big tour. So I was all like just excited and, you know, kind of paid for being a little overexcited.
I can guarantee that would definitely make anybody excited.
Right.
And I think probably any of us would have something happen to that effect. So sometimes I ask if you could open for anybody, who would that be?
Metallica.
Okay.
Hands down. It's my favorite band.
Okay.
So if I ever could, I would just, man. Even if it was just for like 3 seconds, I'd be happy.
Okay. So would that also go same for if you could collaborate with anybody?
Dude, that's actually an interesting one. I actually would love to do a track with Buckethead. I think that'd be cool. Okay. I would want to just kind of sit back and be like, let him do his thing, but I think that'd be fun.
Okay.
Could that person not be with us anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, in a heartbeat, I would love to do a song with Johnny Cash. Oh my God.
Okay.
That would be so sick. Like, man.
My wife, it's one of her favorite, and she's significantly younger than I am, and it floors me that she likes Johnny Cash and John Denver and
oh yeah, all that like the OG like outlaw country stuff.
Yeah,
man, it's good stuff.
We have Matt Machine Miller. Any art is part of an individual's personality.
Of course, he would say something like that. Hi, Matt.
And it is. Everything's of the persona. Because,
No, for sure. Well, I mean, again, like I was kind of saying earlier, it's show business.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Let's see. Let's talk about the intermission song real quick. How did that start as deciding to do that cover and then the process of selecting the people to sing it with?
Well, picking the song was easy. I mean, everyone was doing Running Up That Hill.
Well,
So, to be fair, though, I'm actually like a legit super Stranger Things fan. Like, I started season 1, watched it all the way. I love the show. And then, all right, I'll say it. I never heard of Kate Bush until Stranger Things. So yeah, you know, all you people in the comments want to call me a poser. I don't care. But I love the song. I thought it was a really cool song. I'm like, oh my God, it's really good. And yeah, I know everybody and their grandmother was covering it, but I wanted to cover it. And I wanted to, again, I wanted to elevate some other artists. Not that like these people are so talented, it's not like they really needed me to elevate them, but I just thought it'd be cool to do a collab. And I never really done something like that before. I've always felt like when it came to like me doing my own thing, it was always just me doing my own thing. But you know, working with, you know, Ricky, Tulin, and oh my God, my brain just shut off. The Centrix.
yes. Miss Flores.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like, but they just to have that, and then Greg Turner from 10 Cent Revenge laying down the bass. That guy, he's so great. He's so great. I hate him, but he's so great. But just to get that unique group of talent, because each person was unique.
Yes.
And I loved how they each threw their own unique take on the song. But yeah, if you're looking for like some crazy elaborate story again of why I picked this cover, they're really, it's just because, yeah, it was hot. Stranger Things was out. I mean, I'm not going to say your bullshit and be like, well, we thought, no, it was,
you wanted to do it, so you did.
Yeah,
it.
the song's very popular. And again, do whatever the hell I want.
So how hard was it to get Greg and everybody to?
Not at all. Like it was surprised. I mean, I feel like despite what you see on social media, the scene is very united. I was one of those people that used to think it was very cliquey, and in some aspects it is. I'm not going to lie, but
I think it's more cliquey regionally than
I suppose. But I feel like, you know, if you just reach out to these artists and just work with them instead of working against them, you'd be surprised on the results.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm not in this to compete with anybody. You know, there's nothing to really compete for. So I never really understood that mentality. So I wanted to do something kind of cool. I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to work with other artists. It's just simple as that. You know, and I felt that these people were just really, really good.
Right.
You know, oh my God, want to work with someone just because they're good. What a concept. You know, they're all uniquely talented, and I wanted to work with them. Just, that's it.
Okay. Well, no, that definitely explains it all. Well, and it's funny because Greg, the first time I met Greg, I'm guessing Greg didn't know anything about the Yeti Radio yet because I wasn't sure who was dealing with their social media. And we were at the 44, and they showed up like they just jumped off the cover of a Hit Parader magazine. And I walked up, and I introduced myself, and Greg kind of looked at me like, who the hell are you? And then Josh was there, and Josh was like, oh, hey. And
no, I love Greg. He's a guy, I'm like, man, it's just a pro attitude.
Right,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, doesn't get involved with drama, you know, shows up, does his job, and does it great. So,
right.
You know, props to Greg, and I'm so glad, like, to see his band 10 Cent Revenge, like, you know, playing out and doing a lot of cool things, man.
Absolutely. They've been screaming. I think their hair's about to catch on fire. Well, we're going to take a quick intermission with Mr. Tommy Gibbons. And here's Running Up That Hill right here on the Yeti Radio. Back in the studio was Mr. Tommy Gibbons.
Hey, that's me. Oh, neat.
Amazing song.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I didn't write it. I mean, the credit to Kate Bush.
Yeah, absolutely. But you guys did an excellent job covering it.
Thank you. Thank you.
How long did that take?
Oh, man. It took a while because the thing I was having a hard time with was figuring out style-wise where I wanted to go with it, because everyone was doing the let's make it heavier, and I mean, at the end, that's what I ended up doing. But it wasn't too long. I think we got everything together within under a month, I think. I don't remember.
Right about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's the best thing about being a musician?
I could say for someone like me who's not very good expressing with words, music's a great way to express yourself. I think to me that's the best thing, because despite what you might have seen on stage, I'm a very I keep to myself. And I feel like sometimes the only way I can get a message across is through music. So to me, I think that's the best thing. And to me, the best thing about music is the fact that it's subjective. Like, there's no right or wrong. I mean, yeah, on a technicality, like, is it bad? Maybe to you. But I love that it's good to somebody type mentality.
Right.
You know, I think that's super cool. But yeah.
So what's the worst thing about being a musician?
You got time? I just think it just depends on what you want out of it.
Okay.
You know, if it's your hobby, awesome. It's one of the best, most expensive, but it's one of the best hobbies. If you are really trying to make this your living, it is a hell of a road. But I really do believe if you stick to your guns and you stick with it, you know, you never know what you can get out of it.
Right.
You know, but I think, you know, here's the problem, and this can go with like one of the worst things, I guess, is I feel musicians are they're very dedicated, but they're also very sensitive, and a lot of musicians are very insecure. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like because music is your expression, it's your art, it's you trying to show people who you are, they crumble when others don't like it, you know?
Right.
And I totally get that, because this is you putting yourself out there, and it's not easy. You know, I dare any normal person to just go up there and express yourself to hundreds of people and let me know how you handle it.
Right.
You know, when they don't like it, or when you have a couple of critics. So, you know, I just think one of the worst things about being a musician is, yeah, you're putting yourself out there, and not everyone's going to be on board with it.
Well, I know a friend of mine in Las Vegas who used to write for some pretty predominant magazines. He always said, whatever you do, don't read the comment section.
Yeah.
And I get that, you know, because it can, I guess, kind of sort of weigh on you. But I took his words. I still read them because I'm like you. You don't like me? I don't care.
Yeah.
I could care less. But if you do, welcome, and let's have some fun. But yeah, I definitely get that can be tough. So have you ever, with any band or your own band, had stopped the music and the audience continue the song?
Yes, I've had that happen. We were playing at, oh my God, what was it called? Somewhere, it was a venue in San Antonio, Texas, and it was when I was in Flaw. I'll never forget this. This is actually really cool. We were doing Flaw's like first big single was called Payback.
Yes.
And in the middle of the song, there's this break where we stop, and then we usually go into the bridge. Well, when we stopped, we started playing another song. Another big hit by Flaw was called Hole, and I started playing the bass line to it. And before Chris could even start singing, the crowd just started doing it, and then he just let him. I thought that was like one of the coolest feelings ever. It got to the point where we all just stopped together and just let the crowd like finish it. That is like such a, you want to talk about like a powerful feeling? That is powerful.
Absolutely. Okay. This was a question that I saw. I don't have this one written down yet. And I keep forgetting to ask it. So you get to be the first person.
Oh boy.
Would you rather be an A player on a B band or a B player on an A band?
Who asked that question? Who's that from?
It was an interview that I happened to catch.
Okay. That's a tough one. I mean,
well, I think it's one of those things that determines whether you're going to be a super alpha because you want to be the A player.
How much am I getting paid? that will determine everything. If they're paying me enough, I'll be a freaking B player. I don't care. No, that's so hard because, like, so for me personally, I would just whatever accommodates the band, because you could be a player, but if the band isn't calling for a lot of, like, you know, technical skill, and you can just pull back, just play to the band, I think that's great. I mean, there are tons of like look at like John 5, for example, extraordinary shredder. But the bands that he plays for, like, you know, he did what Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, now he's in Motley Crue, I think, as a touring guy, or I don't know what that's all about. But you know, he doesn't necessarily shred in those bands, but he fits to their style.
Right.
So I guess as long as, like, you can accommodate the band, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
You know, it's whatever's best for the band at that point. So I guess B player in an A band, I guess. I don't know. It's such a weird question.
Sorry.
No.
I thought it was intriguing.
No, it is intriguing, but it's hard to answer because, you know, I mean, there probably have been bands out there that's like, God, this band's kind of trash, but God, that guitar player's pretty good, or that drummer's really good. But
right.
I think it's better when it's like, God, that's just a kick-ass band.
Right.
You know?
Well, and since you know, you would open for Metallica, I shared a interview that they had about Enter Sandman, and
I never got to open for Metallica. I said I would like to open for them.
No, but the interview, they were talking about different things on how that song came about and who made suggestions. You know, you got the drummer making suggestions to the guitar player about what he's doing. You know, hey, make that 3 times instead of just 1. And that's, you know, the kind of sort of the
Well, I think Metallica is actually a great example of this question because as individual musicians, maybe except for Robert Trujillo, they're not like the greatest musicians. And I hope the comment section has a blast with that one. But no, but in reality, as individual musicians, you can't look me in the eye and say, like, oh yeah, Lars is such a great drummer, or Kirk's such a, you know, I love Kirk Hammett. He's one of my favorite guitar players. But as like individual musicians on a technical level, they're not like superior, but yet they can get together and make badass music.
Right.
To me, that means more than anything.
The end product. So
Yeah. Okay. If you can write kick-ass, I mean, look at a guy like Neil Young. He's kind of a shit guitar player in reality, but he can write good songs despite how you may feel about him personally or whatever. I'm not talking about that. But as far as songs go, you can't tell me that the Harvest record is like, come on, that's a brilliant album front to back. That's well-written stuff. But as like a technical player, hell, even as like a technical singer, his voice is kind of trash, but yet it works for what he's doing. Yeah. So again, that's where that whole subjective thing comes into play, though.
Right. Well, and it's good. That's why I know. Penny said she absolutely loves that cover. I missed that comment. Sorry, Penny. But I had met Ricky, and she got me. I brought her birthday present over and one for you as well. But that's how I got to meet you, and that was awesome. I was totally caught off guard, and that was excellent. So I know I got off track a little bit there. What do you do in your free time outside of music?
Well, I got a fiance now. I got 2 awesome little girls, and I got my son. So any free time I have, I want to spend it with them. But if not, I got a PS5. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I think most people know that, and I love WWE. Well, I love wrestling in general, but mainly WWE. So, I always make time for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the pay-per-views, or I guess they don't call them pay-per-views anymore, premium live events. Like I enjoyed WrestleMania that just happened. So yeah, that's pretty much my free time. Any chance I get to spend time with the family, that's what I try to do.
Well, I have a friend who is also really big into wrestling, and we've gone back and forth a few times on social media with different wrestlers as far as trying to who can bring one back from way back.
Oh, don't get me started.
Right? I think I stumped him one day when I brought Ricky Steamboat, and he was like, whoa. But who's your favorite wrestler?
We're talking currently or in general, or currently it's I really love what they're doing with Cody Rhodes. Okay. I've ever since Roman Reigns has started the whole bloodline thing, I think that's been phenomenal.
Okay.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite right now, but right now those two I'm always tuned in. And then like also AEW, I love MJF. I think he's so great. I actually have a funny MJF story too, because I played on the Chris Jericho cruise.
Okay.
So MJF is a wrestler that is always in character. Like he never breaks kayfabe. So I'll never forget this. I think we were getting ready. We were setting up to play actually, and MJF was walking, and this kid comes behind him, and he goes, "Mr. MJF, can I get a photo with you?" He looks at the kid and goes, "I'd rather die," and he walks away.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was at that moment I was like, "That guy's my hero. I love him." And then so then there was this other incident. So we had to do like one of those like pre-board meetings or whatever, like safety meetings before the ship got to move or whatever. And again, in my head, I thought MJF was like always in character. So he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, is this the right room we're supposed to be in?" And I thought he was like still in character being a smart ass. So I was like, "Oh yeah, there's a sign right there. You know how to read, dude?" And he just looks and goes, "Oh, nice." And then like my buddy at the time was like, "Hey, I think he was like legit asking." I'm like, "Oh," I thought, "Oh my God." So
no, that's awesome because that's
keeping kayfabe alive, Yeah,
absolutely. You got to when you're in a situation like that, you have to run with it because that's who he is.
Right, absolutely.
So what about? Because I'm not up on current personally. I'm an old school fan. So you got any old school favorites?
Oh yeah. I mean, Undertaker still kind of is. Used to be like my all-time favorite. But if we're talking about like golden era, I'm guessing that's what you're. Okay. To me, all the kids liked Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. I wasn't really into that because I just thought they were big sweaty dudes yelling at the mic, and I was never impressed with that. I liked guys like Roddy Piper, Jake the Snake, who like really knew how to. Because see, for me, look, I know wrestling is entertainment. I'll leave it at that. I know that it's people want to say it's not real, whatever, but to answer that, so is the half the movies you watch. But anyways. I like the entertainment part of it. I want the storylines. I want the drama behind it. So if you can't cut a good promo, I just think you're pretty much useless. And to me, not saying Hulk Hogan or like all those big names are useless. Obviously they're not. They're the biggest names in wrestling. They just, for me personally, never impressed me. Like the way like Roddy Piper can cut a promo, like Jake the Snake can cut a promo, like lure you in with real words, real storytelling, not just take your vitamins, brother, blah, 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 blah. And just, you know what I mean? Like, I was never into that.
Right.
And I'm not saying I was, all about the heels, but it just seemed to me the heels did a better job of telling the story because to have a good guy, you need to have something for that good guy to go against, right?
Absolutely.
You know?
Okay. That's awesome. For me, it was always Andre.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Andre was just look at that, you know?
Yeah, it was just it was a whole lot of fun back then.
Absolutely.
My stepbrother got to go to an event, and it was Ric Flair and Greg Valentine.
Oh my God, that had been cool.
And whether he actually broke his nose or not was either here nor there, but I think it was Rick that slammed Valentine's face into the chair next to my stepbrother.
Oh.
And he come up all bloody, and my stepbrother was like losing his mind.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's sick. That's dope.
Yeah, it was, back then when they used to do the old the National Guard armories. And,
right.
Right. Long time ago. Starting to show my age. Let's see. How do you deal with creative blocks? Or... is there anything you do to, other than take a break? Is there?
No, it's like the best way to handle it. If it's not working, it's not working.
Okay. You don't do anything in particular, like go listen to some other music? And...
No. The way I see it is, if I'm not creative that day, it's just not meant to be.
Okay.
Back at it tomorrow or back at it later, Not to say that I've had days where I'm like harping, just oh my God, why can't I get this? But,
How do you feel about the changes that technology has brought to the industry? And let's ad lib on that a little bit. Not maybe just technology, because the streaming portion, but also some of the TV shows.
TV shows,
the talent shows.
I mean, look, any way you can get your stuff out there, I think is great. But it's up to you how you use it. If you listen to the majority of the people that complain about it, they're the ones not either A, using it properly, or they're just so stuck in their ways that they don't want to. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you either adapt or you perish. Okay. And I'm not saying obviously it's done some good and it's done a lot of bad. I will admit that. But I believe that there's so many ways to get your product out there, get your music, get your art out there. You have no excuse. You just have to work hard for it. It's not just as simple as I'm going to make the song, I'm going to do a video, now it's going to be out and everyone's going to like it, and I'm going to gain a bunch of views and numbers. It doesn't work like that. You've got to put the work into it. So again, it's up to you how you utilize those platforms. You can sit here all day and point the finger like this company doesn't pay enough, they don't do enough. Well, yeah, but maybe you don't work hard enough. Right.
I think that's one of the best things that I've heard as far as what to do with a music career. It's all the business end.
Well, here's the thing. We're in an era right now where you necessarily don't need to rely on a record label anymore, because you're going to have to spend more money up front, but you don't owe anything in the back end. So if you are being serious, if you want to take your career serious, just like any time you start a business, you have to invest in it. It's just common sense.
Right.
So and it's one of those things, if you don't invest in your own career, why should we the people invest in it? Because you not investing into your own career, that just shows like you don't take it serious. And there's just so many ways to be heard. And honestly, it's so easy. I tell any artist or any band I work with, like, you have no excuse. There's no excuse. You can get your music out there. You just got to put the effort into it.
Okay. Definitely wholeheartedly agree. Definitely lots of work and lots of hours. I know one of the talent shows at one point in time were running the show as if all the contestants had made it, and they had them doing what it was going to do
What's it going to feel like when you get to that level?
Yeah,
right,
when you
right.
get to that level. Staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning just to get up at 6 to get ready to go on stage at noon. And,
Oh, yeah.
And, working off of 3 hours of sleep, if that.
Right, and let me be clear. Playing every goddamn weekend at the same place isn't putting the work into it.
Right.
There's so much that goes into it. Like, when you record your single, let's say you make a single, and let's say you make a badass music video. You don't just drop it and be like, okay, here's my stuff. There's a process to it.
Right.
Build to your release. I feel like a lot of bands and artists don't do that enough. Like, build for the release. Like, you have a single that's coming out in like a month and a half. Build hype for it. Get people talking about it. And again, one of those things that's so easy to do because you have all these platforms to do it. You just, again, got to utilize it right.
Right. Well, that's some of the things I see. Like, let's say you don't like Facebook, but you're okay with Instagram. Well, it's the same company now, or at least was. Whether you like Facebook or not, you should still be doing it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. There's a lot of things like, even my job, I don't necessarily like doing, but I got to do it anyways.
Right.
It's,
And putting the information on there,
Yeah.
who you are, who does what, where you're from, how to get a hold of you. I go through so much social media, and if I don't find anything on their social media, I just hope and pray they have a website, so that I can find something and keep it up to date. I was doing one, and doing the names for an interview, and said, that person's not with the band anymore. It's not what your website said. So we'll fix it, but help me out too.
right.
Not me as in just me. Me as in anybody that is going to look for you.
Of course.
Be it another radio station, be it be it a label. Is a label going to want anything to do with you if your information on your website or your social media is not
absolutely
current or accurate?
Absolutely.
Let's see. I'm a 70s and 80s kid. A successful career back then, I think, is different than today. So what do you think is a successful career today? Because back then it was gold, platinum. If you were one of the 10 or so people that hit diamond.
For me personally, I don't really give a crap about any of that stuff. If I'm to be blunt, at the end of the day, I can make a living enough to take care of my family, take care of myself, and still do what I love doing. The rest is just whatever. That to me is success. Is
no, that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
For some people, it is the glitz and glamour,
the accolades and whatever. And hey, props to those people that chase that. I think it's great. But for me personally, I don't care about any of that stuff because a billboard plaque on my wall ain't gonna feed my family.
Right.
A stream award or whatever, or a guitar player award doesn't put food on my table. So I don't really care about any of that shit. I think at the end of the day, what matters is, doing what I love doing, but also being able to take care of the people I care about.
Okay. Beautiful answer. And not uncommon. So that's another reason I like this scene so well, because that's a pretty common answer.
Right.
So what's in the future for Mr. Tommy Gibbons?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, I feel like my time on the stage and playing out is coming to a gradual end, which I'm very happy about. I love the idea of transitioning more behind the scenes, like working with Rockin' Free Live, working with a new one on stage now, helping bands, working with young up and coming artists, I feel like that's where it's at for me, because I love creating. And I would also love to be one of those few people that can stir bands and stir artists in the right direction. You know, because too many of these people out there, including people here, they're looking at it, what they can gain out of it. Well, I don't want any of, like I said earlier, I don't want any of that glitz and glamour bullshit. At the end of the day, I want to get to a point where I can make money at it, and I can help the artists make some money and get to that next level. And if I accomplish that, I think that's amazing. Okay. And if I can surround myself with people that want those same things, that's also amazing. You know, people that have their hearts in the right place. Like, it's really difficult to find people in this industry. I'm not going to just say in this scene, but in this industry that genuinely care. That they don't have that mentality of, well, I got to look out for myself. I mean, you do, I get that. But I believe the more people like work together and elevate upcoming artists and not try to hold people down, the better things will be, you know. And I get it. Everybody wants to go after that fake imaginary brass ring, whatever that is.
Right.
But wouldn't it be easier to reach it if we all lifted each other up to get it and then share it? Because there's plenty of them. It's not just one. There's a lot of them.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people think, well, I want to make it, and, you know, screw you guys. And that's just so crappy.
Right.
And look, I'm not innocent. I used to be that guy. I used to not give two shits about the Phoenix music scene or the local scene. I used to not care. All I cared about was, I want to get the fuck out of here and I want to make it for myself. And that was the wrong attitude to have. I created a lot of enemies with that mentality. I'd probably be a lot further if I didn't have that mentality. You know, because now I just shot myself in the foot, because now those people don't want to work with me now. You know?
Right.
Where those people could have been potential clients, or, you know, just, you know what I mean? And this isn't me apologizing. It's just me saying, like, look, I used to be that person that didn't give a shit. Now I'm like, you know, I've grown up a little bit and realized, like, it's not just about me making it now. I want to see other people succeed, because the more that other people succeed here, the, you know, it will just trickle down. It's a domino effect. You know, people start looking at Phoenix and going, oh my God, you know, a lot of bands have broken out of there. What's going on there?
Right. Absolutely.
You know, and I think that'd be super cool, because I've said this many times. As far as talent goes, we're not lacking in that department at all.
Hell no.
But I think where we are lacking is direction, and I think we're lacking that camaraderie. Am I saying that word right? Mm-hmm. Is that the right word? You know, where I get it. A little bit of healthy competition is great because it elevates you. You want to become better. But I think some people take it too far.
Right.
Where it's all about, well, I've done this and I've done that. You haven't done that yet. That doesn't matter. What matters is, let's help each other get there. Like, you know, if someone has gotten a little bit more success, how did that person get there? You know, that person needs to come in and help these younger bands. And, you know what I mean? That's what I would like to do, is get to that point where I can comfortably do that. You know, because there's a lot of bands that I believe can break out of here.
I have to agree with you. And, you know, right now I think we're on the verge of a few, because things seem to be moving quite rapidly for a couple of them, and it's impressive.
Absolutely.
Especially when you start playing venues of the bands played that made it big when I was growing up. If you're playing those venues, then, you know, that says something, you know, to anybody that's from any scene that knows those venues. You know, you're one in Flint, Michigan. You know, up there, you play there, you're...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, but was there any significant occurrence that made you realize?
No, it's just, I think some of it's a part of growing up. Like I said, I used to have a really just kind of a bad attitude. You know, I cared about only myself. All I cared about was do whatever I had to do so I can make it. To where I felt like, I just rubbed people the wrong way, and I was just kind of a shit person, and I just don't want to live like that anymore. I want to, I just want to do better. And, also you got to think about the legacy you leave behind too,
Right.
I got kids that look up to me, and I don't want them being like, oh wow, he was kind of a jerk.
Right.
Or I also don't want them thinking like that's okay to be like that. I mean, do I have my moments? Yeah, I'm fucking human, man.
Yeah.
I have bad days like everybody else does, but I try to have less of them and try to learn from my past mistakes and just try to grow from them.
Absolutely. Great advice. Because and that's me. I'm not here to piss on people or say something that is somebody's going to take the wrong way. So if I ever say anything and you think I mean it some way bad, please say something. That way I can either correct it or tell you yes.
Right.
Whichever the case may be. It'll probably never be yes. That's what I meant. Yeah. Because that's not what I'm here to do.
I know what you're saying. I got you.
I would definitely like to clarify it, but we need that maturity level for you to be able to say, hey, what you said was kind of fucked up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, hold on. That's not, you went left field with that. That was supposed to go to right field.
Right.
So, because that's just not me. I don't.
Well, you don't. Yeah. You definitely don't seem like a confrontational person at all.
I don't need to be.
Right. Absolutely. Well, yeah. There's just no need for that.
And it's just if somebody's there, cool. We'll do whatever or set up whatever. And I know some things might be being said because some interviews haven't been done yet. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get as many people in as possible and have as much fun as possible, and
of course
get everybody's point of view. And because I think they're all unique and they're all amazing and awesome.
Well, that's the cool thing about that is one of the bright sides of this industry. Like there is no right, correct way. How you get there is how you get there.
Yeah.
I can only tell bands or give artists advice on how I would do it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the only right way. There's so many ways to get there. I've always believed like, don't matter what level anyone's at, you just be open-minded, and you'd be surprised who comes up with that suggestion that might take you to that next level.
Yeah, definitely. I did one interview. They wanted to bring their producer in via video if he was available, and it was a pretty substantial producer. I was like scared to death when I first read his bio, and I'm like, and his accomplishments. I'm like, ooh, you realize this is a hobby, right? This isn't a business yet, for somebody to think that I was good enough for that was just mind blowing, and I was prepared and ready for it, but unfortunately he was in sessions with another band and didn't get to show up. But just the thought was just mind-blowing. And there's a couple of others that are coming up pretty soon that are substantial, and I can't wait to get those done too.
Awesome.
But I want to thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been awesome. Cool. Get to know Tommy Gibbons a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I know things are coming along in the studio real well.
Absolutely.
You got anybody in particular you're working with now?
Currently I am working on the new I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. I got Johnny from Frankenshred. We're doing the new Hammerstar record.
Okay.
Which has been a lot of fun to make.
I've seen a couple of his posts. I think he's been talking about it.
Yeah. So that's been really cool. Just had the X's in. They were a lot of fun. Incredible singer. She's got it.
They were fun in here when they.
Oh, bet. Working with I had the Avarice. Hope I'm saying that right. God, if I'm butchering that, I'm sorry. They're a really cool throwback to like that Kill Switch Engage era, which I love.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun working with them. I got a lot of really just cool bands, a lot of good stuff, coming in the studio, and it's been a blast. Going this route has been a lot of fun for me, and working with this new they're like it's called On Stage Now. They help independent artists, like they just try to steer them in the right direction. I just had an artist in. Her name was Emily, incredible singer. Just awesome, and it's just so cool to see people like trying to actually elevate. Like again, Rockin' Free Live. I cannot express like how cool it is that they do what they do for bands. Like provide them not just a place to play, but just the whole Battle of the Bands thing that we do. You get to work with me if you win, and
right.
I've gained because of those Battle of the Bands. I've formed some pretty cool relationships with people, like Del from Burn Bridges. Hi Del, if you're actually listening. I wouldn't have gotten to work with them wasn't for Rockin' Free Live or the X's and Avarice and all those bands. So Penny has done and Travis.
Absolutely.
I feel like. Again, one of those rare people that the heart's in the right place.
Yes, definitely. And like Arsenic Kitchen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Won,
God,
but the band that came in second was good enough. You threw one out for them as well.
That's a band. Arsenic Kitchen to me might be like my top. These guys. They're gonna go far. Like they have their right attitude and they have great songs. So I wish nothing but the best for any band that I work with. But yeah, no, I love the Arsenic Kitchen guys. They just have.
They were
it together.
just here Wednesday, so
nice.
And it was good having them, and you were following them, and I'm like, I don't think I could have set. It was by accident, and I'm like, okay, well, sometimes good accidents happen.
Absolutely.
But, well, again, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And it's been awesome having you over here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And maybe if you've got somebody that's willing to let me sit in and watch what you do one day, maybe I can come hang out and, get a chance to see what you do and see it from that perspective. I think
absolutely, I'd be down for that.
That'd be pretty awesome for me.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Tommy Gibbons right here in the Yeti Radio. And we're going to close it out with Red Flag right here on the Yeti Radio.
Tight.
right, Mr. Tommy Gibbons live in studio with the Yeti. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and stay tuned. We've got New Music Monday coming up Monday night at, I think, still at 8:30. It's not going to change until, I want to say, May 2nd probably, because that's when my schedule changes. But we're going to Monday at 8:30 right here, where we do all the new songs that came out the last week for all Arizona bands that I come across. If anybody isn't on Spotify and want to send me a link or just send me the MP3, we can get that aired as well. And I want to thank Tommy for joining me again. And it has been an honor and a pleasure to have him. And we will catch everybody next week. And I believe we have Dead West next Friday. Right here live in studio for an interview. Tune in for that. That's going to be exciting. They've got some surprises for you. I don't even know what they are. So that's going to be interesting. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.
Inside!